Hello, and welcome back to another exciting and riveting episode of Big Titan Talk, you guys. It's your girl, the Anime Nay, and today I'm feeling pretty good. AOT did not disappoint these past few episodes at all, and today we're gonna discuss and dive deep into episode 7. And by the way, when I say we, I mean let me introduce my very, very cool guests. Today I have Ayana and Charles of Black on Titan. They do another podcast on the final season of AOT, y'all. Please check it out. I was listening to it today and I was having a good old time. Y'all, there's just so much to talk about with this show. So I'm so excited to have my fellow podcasters on. Welcome to the podcast, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm really excited to have fellow podcasters on, people who love AOT. I know y'all be thinking about it as much as I have to think about it. So yeah, tell me a little bit more about Black on Titan, a little bit about how you guys got started and got the idea.
I'll talk. So we started Black on Titan back on the second episode of this new season because I looked for a podcast after episode 1, and I was trying to find something to listen to while I watched the show. And so I found this podcast. It was only one that had posted like right after the show had came out. And so I was like, okay, let me listen to it. And I was so disappointed. Like, they were pretty trash. And I don't even remember the podcast name, not that I put it out there, but it was just very underwhelming. And like the way they were talking about characters, it was like bro time. And I'm like, if you're on a podcast, like actually talk about what's going on. But they seemed like they were having a very personal conversation that we didn't need to be a part of. And I just felt like we can offer something else, especially for Black people that are interested in anime. And I had asked Twitter, do you guys know any Black AOT podcasts? And everybody was like, no, not really. You should make one. And then I was like, I don't know. Seems like a lot of work. And then Charles was like, no, let's make one. And I'm like, okay. He was like, I know how to do it. I can start it all up. And so I was like, okay, if you insist. And so here we are.
Yeah, it was a lot of that because when she presented the podcast to me, I was like, okay, let me check it out. And the podcast was bad, but it had its points. It was enjoyable at points. And when she was talking about it, I was like, okay, we can do something that would be more appealing to people like us, that would be more appealing to just listeners in general. And then I remember when I started watching Attack on Titan, I did a whole like tweet thread. Like because I started watching it, it was like season 3 already. So I just tweeted through the entire series, and I was like, that was really enjoyable. So a podcast in the same vein would be something that's really enjoyable because I find that when you listen to podcasts or when you even do them, you find out so much more, and you kind of watch the show more closely. So it just made it that much better. I've enjoyed anime since I was a kid, and I cycled through a lot of them, but there aren't that many animes that are kind of as engaging as AOT. And then there aren't as many anime that were out right now for me that I'm currently watching that are so close to the end of the episode or the end of the series. And I kind of like that aspect of it. I like going into it and examining the last, because there's not going to be a season 5. I mean, that would be cool, but it's the last season. So examining something that's in its finality, I really like that aspect of it.
No, yeah, I totally agree. It's something Attack on Titan handles so many different themes, so many different, big real world issues. I'm excited to see how they're going to wrap up all of this stuff in the final season. And we were kind of talking about this before, but the possibility of there being a break. Do you watch Charles, do you watch not watch, but do you read the manga?
I don't read the manga.
Okay.
I plan to, but after it's all over, I don't want to spoil it for myself, honestly. At this point, it's too late.
Yeah, that's kind That's what do you mean at this point it's too late?
Well, it's too late to go back and because the way I feel about it, like it's too late for me to go back and read the entire manga and get all of the stuff that I would get from it just to catch up to this last season. I want to enjoy it, and I don't want to start in like the last of the manga and then find out what's gonna happen in the anime when I've just been watching the anime.
I feel you. I feel the same way. I want to go back and read it after just to kind of see the differences and all that stuff. I am wondering if the manga or if the anime is going to deviate from the manga a little bit or not. I guess we'll see. We'll see. But yeah. So who are you guys? This is kind of a bigger question, but who are you guys rooting for, would you say, as of right now, where we're at episode 7?
That's funny because I was listening to your latest podcast when your the guest that you had on, he was saying like, you know, do you think that they were wrong for what happened? And I don't know who I'm rooting for Parody. I guess because those are our guys and we've been with them the whole story. And Marley has always been the bad guy throughout this story. So I'm gonna stick with Parody.
I'm not rooting for anybody. Honestly, like if I'm rooting for individual people, like I'm rooting for Sasha. I'm rooting for Armin. You know, like I might be rooting for Falco a little bit, but overall, Marley's trash, so that I'm not rooting for them at all. But just everything that's going on in Parody, and I don't like enough of the Parody people that, like, if you weren't there like season 1, minus like if you weren't there season 1, I really don't. That's what you like that. So, like Flock, for example, like I just
Yeah. Nah, for real. Why is Flock there? I actually was a little like, oh, okay, when he showed up. It is so murky at this point because I want to say that I'm rooting for Parody, which I totally am. But on the other hand, I do feel so bad for all the Eldians and Marley in particular. And I mean, once I kind of realized that there were internment camps all over the place and that they weren't just in Marley, I was like, dang, like this is a huge problem. Like this is a huge issue that's way past, Marley versus Parody. But if we're looking at it like that, I'm definitely for Parody. But also I have a place in my heart for all the Eldians and Marley. But at the same time, it's going to take a long, like, I just feel like it's going to take a lot to, I don't even know what the right word for it. I don't want to say reform. Like, I guess to just educate them the truth. But then again, you can say, what really is the truth? Like, what really is?
And even with that, I think that Eldians will always be looked down upon just because the fact that they can always be Titans. And so I don't know if there can be any like worldwide love for Eldians ultimately without knowing that these people will never turn into Titans again. So that's the only thing that I think, like, I'm rooting for all Eldians because they've been oppressed for a long time, but then again, they were also the oppressors at one point. So it's just a big confusing circle.
No, for real. For real. Okay, before we dive deeper into this episode, I wanted to ask you guys just a little bit about what you're watching right now. Is all of your anime time going to AOT, or are you guys making some time for some other shows?
I can't just watch one anime at a time personally. I'll binge one and then move to another, or I'll just watch a bunch of episodes. So I'm currently watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Ayana got me on that one. I'm watching Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? It's one of my personal favorites. It's a really good story. It's a much better story because like how Hulu has those just random anime. That was one of the ones I decided to watch, and it's shot up my list. And then I'm also trying to finish One Piece. That's an adventure in itself.
Okay, yeah, taking that on. How far are you into it?
The last arc that I know for sure, they just got past the East Blue and all of that. They were returning, I forget her name, the princess with the ducks. They're going back to take over her kingdom, Alabasta. So they're in the midst of that. That's where I left off and jumped into some other anime. But I'm going back.
Okay.
So I just finished binge watching all of Black Clover. Obsessed. That has shot to the top of my list of favorite animes. I haven't started watching anything else yet, but I am interested to see what is available on Hulu and Netflix. But Black Clover has been the only thing that I've been watching for the last 2 weeks.
Man, okay, Black Clover fan on the podcast. Okay, Charles, how do you feel about Black Clover?
I honestly haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's on my list now. Like I have a lot of anime on my list, but Black Clover, I have to finish, like personally, I want to finish some more before I get there. Like I need to finish JoJo. I need to finish One Piece, but that who knows. And so yeah, I'll get to it eventually, but I haven't seen it yet.
I have an issue with finishing anime. I'm so bad. I'm watching JoJo's, but I've been watching JoJo's for like almost 2 years now. Like,
I love JoJo.
Really? You love? Okay, so yeah, I dipped my toe in and out. So JoJo's is an interesting one for me because I watched the first season, or is season and a half or whole season, or I don't know, but the one with Joseph Joestar and like the English guy, and the one who ended up being the American. Or was he American? I think was he American?
Yeah, he's from New York.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I watched their seasons, and I thought that was it. Like I thought that was the end of JoJo's, and then someone put me on. Yeah, and they were like, "No, like, have you checked Netflix? Like, I mean, there are more seasons, but they just put more on Netflix." And I was like, "What?" So I've been watching that, and it's ridiculous. I literally have like 7 episodes left. Like, they finally reached their, final destination. I'm still not. I still have not finised, but
it's more after that.
And that is what I found out. I took a little stroll to like Crunchyroll. I can't remember if it was Crunchyroll or Crunchyroll, and I was like, dang, there are more seasons, there are more Joestars. Good Lord. But yeah.
So you're like, were they in Egypt? They just got to Egypt for you?
Yeah, they just got to Egypt for me. And
that's where I'm at too.
Yeah, and it's weird because where I stopped, like this episode, I was getting a little tired of it because I felt like it was the same thing, like they meet a foe, they fight their stand. All right, move on. They meet a foe, they fight the stand. Okay, it was cool. Like I love JoJo's because it's so interesting. It's very creative. Like all the stands and stuff they like every time is something new and cool. But I'm like, okay, I'm getting tired of that. So where I'm at right now, they finally got to Egypt, and it's like stuff is about to go down, and it's like pulling me back in more. But that's when I was like, okay, I need to take a little break because I was like, I don't want this moment to end, but I'm definitely gonna go back. But the reason I said something about Black Clover is because at this point, I just don't know how I feel about Black Clover. I just don't know. Like,
why?
So when I first started watching it, I didn't like it. I was not a fan. Like for a good while, like I was basically team why is this anime even out? Like I was very anti. But one of my really good friends was like, you need to give it another shot, watch more. You gotta just watch more of it. And so that's what I did. And eventually I was like, no, this is actually really good. And where we're at in the story, like there have been multiple moments throughout the series where I've been like, dang, I am really rocking with this show. But ultimately, I don't know. Like I can't say that I'm a fan, like I watch it, but I can't say that I'm a fan, if that makes sense.
I get that.
Yeah, but I feel like people either love it or no, most people I meet honestly love it. Like most people I encounter love the show.
Yeah. This is an Asta Stan account.
Oh no, Asta Stan account? Oh Lord, you're not even team, you're team Asta?
I love but Asta gets beat down so bad that I have to I like to go with the underdog, and I feel like they always be underestimate my boy Asta, and somebody gotta be Team Asta besides me and Noel.
Hey, you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. I need to catch up. I'm like 30 episodes behind too, because I feel like where it's at in the anime is getting crazier. So I'm gonna catch up. Maybe I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, okay, cool. Let's get into the episode because good Lord, there was a lot. Like when I tell you I paused it a couple of times and was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's go back a couple times. I felt like this episode was dang near a little mini short film at moments. I was like, dang, like how much do we have left? There's so much happening.
That's how I felt about the past 2 episodes, really. Like 7 and 6. Like I really wish, like how some series do like an hour-long special or something like that.
Yeah.
I really wish they could have done that. That way I could have just watched it all the way through, because it was like like you said, a mini movie.
Well, even the episode before that, where he was dangling Willie in his mouth, like I feel like they all should have just been one long thing. Like, let's get this all over with. But
I agree. I totally agree. It really did feel that way though. From like you were saying, the episode where he throws Willie up, and then the next episode ends with Galliard, or I keep calling him Galliard, but I guess his first name is Porco. But Porco looking at all the scouts coming at him like, oh no, how is this about to go? And then from that to the end of this episode, which we're gonna get to because good Lord, oh my gosh, that was crazy. But okay, so I'm not gonna do a recap this episode either, y'all, because again, I would be talking all day just about that. And I can't, like, I'm one of those people, I will tell you every detail in the recap. Like, and then so-and-so looked over and side-eyed so-and-so. But okay, we'll just go over some points because I'm sure there is a lot to say. But first off, Peak saved Porco from his death because I just knew that the scouts were about to slice him up. I thought that was going to be the first scene that we got. But Porco was saved. And as we saw throughout the episode, he was saved a couple of times. But at the same time, Porco isn't playing games to me, though. Like, he still was kind of doing his thing. Like, I know I was listening to you guys' podcast. And like I think Charles, you were saying like he just rushes into stuff, like he's not taking the time to really think. But I was thinking about that, and I feel like it's probably just because he feels like he has to prove himself or something because he wasn't, one of the originals. But he is kind of all over the place.
That's probably true.
Yeah, that's funny because it's like that he would still hold that grudge that his brother kind of got him. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't like Porco at this point, so I don't really have too much positive to say about him. But I do think that that's a good point, that he would definitely just rush into things because of that, to try, because he does have a chip on his shoulder,
Yeah, and he don't listen because I feel like they told him like he didn't get a chance to experience it in parody, obviously, like everybody else, but they told him like, these people ain't nothing to play with. They will come after you, okay? And what did Porco do? Not listen and was shook when they were coming after him. And I'm like, you knew this was gonna happen.
And what's so crazy is when him and Pete got out the little well that they were stuck in, and they saw them flying across in the ODM gear, and he didn't even know what it was, and Pete was shook. And I'm just like, her face didn't tell you that you probably shouldn't go running into this. Like, she told you to be chill, but several times she told him to calm down, and he just didn't listen. And so he got everybody else got because he don't listen.
Man, he don't listen for real. Okay, this is kind of this is kind of a theory question, but if Beast Titan can make Titans, right? If he can make Titans, do you guys feel that way too? From what I've observed, it seems to me that Beast Titan has the ability to create Titans with his voice. Do you guys you guys feeling that?
I think it's just him being in the founding family that gives him that ability to create the Titans. I don't know if it's necessarily his Beast Titan power, but him being royal.
I don't know. Like, I don't even think I'm not clearly he can make Titans like we seen in the first episode when they did all those bombs or whatever. But I don't think he can just make Titans out of like anybody because those dudes looked like they didn't look like the rest of the aliens that we just see. Like they didn't look like normal people. So I don't know. Like I'm not sure if he can just make Titans.
I think that he, like remember when they were sending them to Paradis originally, when Grisha and them all were gotten turned into Titans. I think they have to like give somebody like the spinal fluid or whatever kind of potion is in that syringe in order for them to turn Titans. I don't think that he has the ability to be like, let me scream and turn everybody in here Titans, I think they have to have whatever was in that little syringe in their body in order to become a Titan.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Because my theory has always, or just my thought has always been, why does he not just like if all the people from Paradis are Eldians and can be turned into Titans, the quickest way to defend against them, they just invaded, is just turn them into Titans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just turn them into mindless Titans. So I was kind of like, that had me a little bit on pause. But yeah, that makes a lot more sense. But I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on Zeke as a character in general, because, that moment when Levi came swinging in and sliced Zeke, I have a lot of thoughts about that, though. I have a lot of thoughts, but I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on Zeke as a character, like where he stands for y'all.
Personally, I like Zeke. I like a good villain. Honestly, like a show isn't good without a good villain. So I like Zeke, and I don't know. He has a really calming nature about him. I like the way that he talks to the other candidates and stuff like that. Like when he was talking to Colt, and Colt was asking like what was so special about him and all this whatnot, and he was just like, "Don't worry about it. Like, just chill." Like I like his presence. I don't know. Like I feel like, and then he's also Grisha's son, even though he's a Colt snitch. So I like him personally. Yeah, I like Zeke.
Zeke ain't been shit since he snitched on his mama and daddy. Oh, can we cuss on here?
Yeah. You can say whatever.
He ain't been shit since he snitched on his mama and daddy. And I think Zeke is very self-serving. I don't see him doing anything out of good nature. I think everything he does is for the benefit of himself. And I don't like him as a character. I mean, he is a villain, and I guess, you're not supposed to like the villain, but I think he is a villain. Like the whole Levi and the Beast Titan thing. Anyway, we'll get to that.
How do you feel about Zeke?
I mean, I think Zeke is one of the most interesting characters. Like you said, I low-key like Zeke. I low-key might love Zeke's character. I agree. He's just such a funny guy. Like the moment you're talking about with Colt, he's talking about, what's your secret? And Zeke's like, it's the way I wipe my ass. Like, I don't know. Like, he's just entertaining to me. But, he did literally ruin everything. He ruined everything, But also, we don't really know very much about that moment. And he was a kid, but I mean, he still does seem to be team. Grisha was wrong. The revolution was wrong. So
I don't think he likes Marley though. Like he might think the revolution is wrong, but just everything, because we didn't really get to hear him speak for real until this season. And it's just like everything he said, like when they were in the little room and he was like, where are the commanders? And they were like, they're not in this room. Like, and then he was talking about like the Eldians and that they'd be in danger if Marley was in danger. It's like he could really care less about Marley specifically. So I don't know. Like I appreciate that aspect of him because it's like he doesn't love his oppressors. So I don't know. He like you said, he's very complicated.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with the whole. He does seem very self-serving to me as well. But okay, y'all, I'm at this moment when Levi comes up, slices Zeke, Beast Titan, okay? I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I just believe that Levi did that and then that's just it. Like, the scene didn't seem like that to me.
I agree.
Did we see him at all after that? Like,
That's
I don't
what I'm talking
remember.
about.
Like,
Agreed.
No, we didn't see him at all. Like, I'm like, they built this whole thing, Levi and Zeke up, and then, it just happens. We didn't get any shots of Zeke's face. We didn't get any of that. Even afterward, we don't see Zeke's body. Like, we don't see anything. So I'm just curious as to what is even going on there. But I don't know if you guys remember, but the moment when Pete kind of told Porco, hang back, our job right now is to make sure that, Beast Titan's back is clear because of Levi. And, Zeke is like, you're right. Eren he's not my enemy right now. Levi, where you at? You're running out of time. And he said, you're running out of time. And then they shoot to Levi with a stopwatch. And I'm like,
right.
I'm like, running out of time for what? Like, what are you talking about? And so that moment that moment stuck with me because I'm like, what is he talking about? Running out of time for what though? Like, does he know about Hanji and like the plane? Like, is that what he was talking about? Is he talking about something else? Cause I'll come up with a theory in a second. You know what I'm saying? But I honestly think that I want Zeke to be a good guy. I really think I want him in my heart to be partially a good guy. So I'm in my head trying to make it so that, maybe Zeke is low-key working with them, but that's impossible though.
When you say good guy, like how good of a good guy? Like, do you want him to be like about to like take down Marley type of good guy, or like a good guy like, oh yeah, let's get the Eldians out of internment camps type of good guy?
Let's get the Eldians out of internment camps type of good guy. Like, I don't necessarily, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that I don't think he gives one care about anybody that's a parody, but I really in my heart want him to not be a self-serving like we were just talking about, and really want him to like low key, once he got Beast Titan or something, realize, I don't know, had some other plan. I just don't want it to just be exactly what he is, this self-serving dude who, has this thing with Grisha and is just really just serving his time as Beast Titan, and it is what it is. Like, I don't know if I don't want that for him. But
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be quiet.
No, don't. She said, I'm gonna be quiet. You just feel like, none of that's true for Zeke. He is who he is.
I stand by him being self-serving. Now, does he care about aliens? I just feel like you can't care about one set of aliens and not care about all aliens. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't believe that anything he'll do will be good for aliens. I think it will be good for Zeke.
Okay, how do you think all that's gonna end? You think Colt is gonna end up eating him? Colt's gonna be the Beast Titan? You think that Levi perhaps might end up? Nah, let me stop playing. I want one of the Ackermans to have a Titan so bad.
I feel like they're not able to.
Like, I think the Ackermans are too cool for Titans, honestly. Like,
definitely.
If you gave Mikasa or Levi a Titan, like, it would be I'm not wasting, but like the way I think about it, like, Annie's probably like the best Titan fighting wise. And if you gave Mikasa or Levi a Titan, like, it would be a waste. Like, their skills are so much better suited for them doing them that it would be so cool to see, but I don't know. And then they would only have 13 years left. Like, all around, I just don't like it.
I don't think the Ackermans are able to become Titans. I don't know, because I know, like, back in the story with Kenny, he told that his memories, the Ackermans their memories weren't erased. So they have a special kind of blood. So I don't know I know they're impervious to getting their mind changed by the Fountain's hiding powers, but I don't know if they're able to become Titans because of that as well.
I feel that. No, go ahead, Charles.
I just thought that they couldn't become Titans or that they're not that they couldn't become Titans, but their mind wasn't erased because they were like the King's Guard or something like that. Like
I think it's because of their genetics, though.
No, yeah, I think it is their genetics, but I can see that being the case too. I was wondering about that. Even with that one lady, if y'all remember back last episode or the episode before, I want to say, the woman, Lady Kiyomi or whatever, who came to talk to Willie.
Kiyomi. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you know,
she started off.
Yeah, she was at the little dinner, and it took me a little bit to put two and two together and realize that those were the same. That was the same woman, right? You guys know the woman who got the wine spilled on her,
who helped Udo out.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was wondering, like, you know, can they become? Is she an Ackerman? And I think I was thinking about that only because if she's not an Ackerman, I'm just wondering how her clan is like situated in terms of, or just like her alignment with Willie and with Eldians across, you know, the world. Like, is she an Eldian? She's not Eldian, right?
I think she's Asian, and I think she's a part of the lineage that Mikasa's mother is from. Because, you know, Mikasa's mom is Asian. Right. And so they only had like a certain amount of people that went to Paradis from this little clan. I don't know how they got there, but I think that she is related to Mikasa's family.
So do you feel like Mikasa's family, the Asian side, like her Asian mom, they're not Eldian and that they were just there? Like, possibly. Can you be Eldian and Asian, do you think?
I would say yes, because I think like from the stories, they were saying that the people would go into other countries they were invading in, like Marley was taking over, and they would try to reproduce with as many people as possible to spread the Eldian race as far as possible. So, I mean, could her family have been like in Marley before the king left and took all the people to Paradis? Possibly. Because we don't know what the world was really like before then, especially for people that weren't Eldian. So anything's possible in Attack on Titan.
Y'all, I'm waiting for them to totally switch up the game and be like, haha, the whole story is fake.
It's just a dream. I honestly, if that happened, Attack on Titan would go from like a top 3 anime for me to I will never watch it again. Because that would just like, oh my gosh. Like if we woke up, or like at the end last episode, it was like when Eren was looking up at the sky or whatever, and he just woke up.
Woke up from the nap. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be that's the worst possible ending for me. I'd rather everybody die in some big colossal Titan explosion than for that.
No.
Then all of this is a lie.
Yeah, for real. No, that's real. That would be terrible. And I can see that being the case too, just because the whole, like, you know, you get the person's memories. Like, it really could be that Eren wakes up as a little kid, like, oh shit, what was that? That would be ridiculous. That would
be.
Time out.
Like, so, anything goes.
Like, I remember I was watching it was at some point in season 3 when Eren kissed Historia, and then he's seen something, and it's kind of like in this, like, time is really a flat circle. So if he woke up as a kid, I guess they would be setting that up.
But you're talking about, like, when he kissed Historia's hand and he had that little mini vision and like his face was all contorted. Yeah, I mean, I think about that moment all the time. Like, what did he see? Like, what was it? Like, what did the woman and Grisha talk about? Like, what? But
It's
when are we
really,
gonna see that?
I know when we'll see it, when him and Zeke are around each other, because it only happens when he touches somebody with founding family blood. And
Right,
so the only other person besides Astoria is Zeke that we know of. And
right.
so maybe that'll be when we figure out all of this, what's going on.
That's real, which means Zeke is not done. Zeke's not done. He's not out of here, not in the slightest.
No, he
No.
hasn't even been in the last 3 episodes for real, for real.
Yeah,
Except to show up and walk around like Bigfoot. Like, come on, man. Like, all, especially, you know, the scene where all 3 of them were just looking at Eren, and it was just very interesting to me because no one like made any plans to attack Eren. And that's when he was just like, Levi comes first and stuff. And I'm just like, I feel like you guys are not good at determining who you should be putting energy into. Like, you're supposed to be military people, but your battle strategy is very limited. But I don't know if they were just too scared or what was the issue, because that could have been the shock of everything that's going on, especially because
yeah.
no one knows who Reiner is.
But you know what? I'm thinking about this though. You know, when Zeke was separated from Peak and Porco, and they were like, "Okay, go Zeke, you go to the front gate or whatever," and he left them. I'm questioning what happened. Now, my theory was that when he got to the gate, like I thought we were gonna see different battles, kind of. Like I thought Zeke was gonna be at the gate, and I thought like Levi, Hanji, and a bunch of other people like Mikasa were gonna be waiting for him, like they were gonna battle Zeke, and then there's gonna be Eren and other people somewhere else. Like I thought it was gonna be a different something like that. But now that I'm thinking about it, low key, it really could still have been the case that Zeke met up with Levi or somebody, and there's like some type of plan. Like maybe not necessarily like, we're working together. I don't know, because there's just no way that Zeke was separated and then he just got wind of what was going on and came back. Like,
Right.
what happened when he went to the front gate is what I want to know.
See, maybe
Like, that was
he
very
didn't.
suspicious to me.
See, I mean, it was suspicious, but maybe he didn't make it to the gate by the time Eren popped up, because I feel like if you, like, let's say Zeke is actually on the side of Marley or whatever, right? So if you just see this Titan pop up, and I mean, I would transform to a Titan and go run a fight too. But I don't know, like.
But it took him a long time to come up there.
True.
And we didn't even see his Titan transform either. Like, where were you?
That's what I'm saying. And I just feel like Zeke is way stronger than what we just saw. Like he threw some
Right.
rocks to the
Yeah.
side and that was it.
Like, yeah, he did only throw like 2 rocks, but like season 3, he was like taking out the whole scout squad.
Correct.
Exactly.
Literally murked like 400 and 500 people easily. And now, like, what is that, Zeke? But yeah, I could talk about Zeke all night, boy, all the theories I got about him. But I also wanted to ask y'all about Eren as the Warhammer Titan. Okay, what in the heck is that about to be? Like, because the Warhammer operates differently than all the other Titans, just conceptually, I am having a hard time trying to work out what I think that's about to be. Like, will he just be able to extendo his arms and, create stuff, or will he be able to choose which Titan, shifter he becomes? Because, he has a founding Titan, but he can't really fully use it because he's not royal. So we haven't really seen, what the attack and founding really could look like. So I'm like, what is the Warhammer how is that about to manifest within his body? That's something I'm interested in personally.
Yeah, me too. Like, does he get to pick bodies like he picks clothes?
I have a theory on that.
Okay.
I just think that the way he manifested, because you know how he can already like pull out those brass knuckles or make his arm hard or whatever. So I kind of think that because when they were talking about the Warhammer's ability, she could make whatever her harden and do whatever. and she chose to be in this little crystallized thing and have this little robot or whatever, right? So I feel like he can probably just, like you said, extend his arm and just kind of have his hardening extend from that, and then like he's probably going to like use that like a suit of armor almost. Like he's going to pretty much become the armor titan with weapons and on his attack titan form. At least that's what I think is probably going to happen, because I don't see him making himself vulnerable like Warhammer Titan made herself vulnerable. And just sitting in this little rock or whatever. Like I don't think that he would do that. So
that's
especially
real.
knowing that the Jaw Titan could break it now.
Yeah, and man, what a second Titan to have taken in. I mean, if it's between Jaw Titan and Warhammer, I'm going Warhammer all day. So that was a big one. That was a huge one for me. Man, I was also wondering though, why didn't she just, well, I guess he would have just crushed her. But I'm thinking, she was always in that little crystal thing. Maybe she just wasn't strong enough to reform her Titan. Yeah, she probably was just tired. Cause I'm like, why didn't you just, grow another Titan body? But I guess I'm over here seeing Eren jumping in and out of Titans, not remembering that everybody can't do that.
She doesn't. They weren't fighting much.
Yeah, I was just going to say that her family, the Warhammer Titan, didn't go to war, and so I think that her skills are probably just limited, because it's not like they can go play in the streets and practice and stuff like that. Like, at least with Eren, and they have a lot of open space, and with them being like, I guess, in a populated city, I don't know if she had that type of space, because she didn't practice with the military or anything, and so she limited herself ultimately because she didn't have the stamina to fight against Eren. Like Eren literally changed bodies 3 times in that one fight, and it's like no one else could do that.
Yeah. Even Porco was surprised. I said even Porco was surprised when he kept switching bodies.
Yeah, that just shows. I mean, this man Eren was ripping off Jaw Titan's arms with no issue. Like, this is a totally different Eren for real. Like, even just from him jumping in and out of Titans like that to that moment of him for real just ripping off this man's arms. I mean, Mikasa literally coming through, slicing off his legs, really, like, all of them are just on a totally different level at this point. It's crazy to see, seriously. But I mean, that kind of leads me to, man, I have to say, one of the saddest moments of Attack on Titan for me was watching Armin turn into Colossal, destroy Marley, and then come out of his Colossal Titan. Like, I was like, dang, man, him. And then to go from that to seeing Eren crushing Warhammer Titan's body and taking in her blood, I'm like, dang, they literally are the thing that they hated the most, like the thing that they grew up despising and working their whole lives to defeat. It's like they really are that. Sad.
I agree.
That's an amazing. Like, that's something like I thought of before. Like when they were first finding out that like all the Eldians were Titans or whatever. But like when you just point out about Armin, because all he wanted to do was like, get out and see the sea and whatnot originally. Now here he is like asking Bertolt, like, hey, like, is this what you seen when you destroyed Shiganshika? Like that was a really sad moment for me too.
But I think with that, you also have to look at the way that each respective side was brought up, just because, the warriors were brought up to look at these people as bad guys and, they're evil. That's the only thing that they could think about. And I think with Paradis, they didn't even know that there were other enemies besides Titans. And so, they didn't have this type of, I guess, brainwashing that these Marleyans had growing up, like from children on up. And so they've had 4 years to process what's all happened. And so, they all got stronger, like physically and mentally, I'm sure. But I think this is more so like about revenge for them, because they didn't even know other people existed. And, to have all of this happen. So it's kind of upsetting to me to have like Marlians be like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. And it's like, you just did this. Like, what are you even talking about? 9 years ago.
No, for real. I'm definitely tired of hearing all of them, Gabby, all of them. Like, I get it, but y'all really did the literal exact same thing. And it's just because they really, in their heads, built them up to be these devils and inhumane creatures almost, that they aren't understanding or getting it through their head that they did the same thing. But even Falco hearing Eren talk to Reiner about everything, I'm just surprised that Falco's not more understanding, but I mean, I guess he's probably in shock. It was a lot. He all in his head, he's just thinking, these people really just destroyed our home. But I mean, y'all literally did just do the same thing. You heard Reiner just get on his hands and knees and basically say, I messed up. I shouldn't even have done that, Dang, Falco probably in that moment was like, what?
Right.
See, it's really funny because Reiner had Miss I Hate Parody and Gabby. He had her questioning, like, because remember when he was at the dinner table and he was going on and on like about how Sasha stole a potato and didn't share it, or how Connie was an idiot and just stuff like that. He had Gabby like, oh my gosh, are these people, or are they actually as bad as they say? And then, his mom came in and reinforced the ideologies of parodies being devils or whatnot. But it is kind of interesting how Gabby and Falco in their connection with Reiner kind of doubt that, but still act on their hate towards the parody people.
Mm-hmm. Man, I mean, I feel like Sasha's about to come out and tear something up. I don't know what she about to do, but the moment Sasha let Gabby live, I thought, it's over.
Bad move.
Yeah. I've already
let her live.
Not at all. Like, Sasha's one of my favorite characters, right? So, and like, I really like, if you watch enough TV or read enough books or whatever, you can kind of tell like when they're setting something up. And when like they did that whole zoom in and whatnot, I was just like, damn, my girl. Like, it just feels like it's all bad for you.
Yeah. Even, I mean, that just shows the parody people still have all of this compassion. Even, the moment when Jean was like, was that me or was that the Titans team? Did I feel sympathy in my heart? And I know, Charles, you were saying that you feel like it was, he did have sympathy.
Because he did that before. Like when they were trying to, remember when they had the whole kidnapping plan or whatever, and they were fighting Kenny's people, and Kenny's people were shooting at him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then he didn't shoot at old girl, and then Armin ended up shooting her. Like, I think that's just part of his character at this point. Like, I don't think he's built like that. Especially to kill people. Like, I think for him, it's one thing to kill Titans, but it's another thing to try to kill a little boy.
Right.
Or something
and even
like that.
Even when Flock was throwing those bombs and stuff, he was like, hey, we were trying to limit civilian casualties. And Flock was like, I don't want to hear none of that. But I think that is part of his character at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. I would totally agree. Man, it's gonna be interesting to see how that kind of comes back, though. We'll see. It seems like from looking at the scenes from the next episode that Gabby might be turning up pretty soon, but we'll see. Man, lastly, y'all, I wanted to talk about Reiner, aka Super Saiyan Armored Titan. Okay, this man. First off, I was questioning whether he was even going to be alive. Then it was, okay, he's going to be alive, but is he going to force somebody to eat his body to become the next Titan because he just can't no more, Now, nah, he said, bump all that. Like, I'm just about to pop out and just literally be on a whole different level. I was not expecting that at all.
I don't know, because like when I seen him emerge, like honestly, I think that his armor titan, whatever he's going through right now, looks much cooler than any other armor titan he's had. But I'm not sure about like how effective it will be because it doesn't look like it has that much armor. And then his fight is like kind of dead. Like when like the only like I mean he was literally just trying to die. And the only reason he didn't is because he heard Falco and Gabby yelling for him. So I don't know. I think it's about time for him to actually get watched by Eren for real. Like,
I mean, it wouldn't even be a fair fight at this point because he's very suicidal, and like his armor doesn't even seem like it's covering, like you said, his whole body. He's very jacked up right now, and so whatever Eren does, it's not going to take much to get Reiner out the paint. I don't know if he'll kill Reiner because I don't think that the time is there, especially with the airship coming and everything. But I don't even know why Reiner woke up.
Yeah. Oh, okay, but y'all, in defense, that armor looked cool to me. I was like, whoa.
It did.
It looked cool, and it also was just like, what's going on? Can Titans, can they transform?
Right.
Is there like another level to this thing,
You know, that's a really good.
I think it was just about, like when Falco was saying about how they couldn't heal if their mind isn't in the right place and stuff like that. I don't know if that is probably why his armor didn't look the same way because, he just didn't have the same resolve to become a Titan as he would. Because, when they say you become a Titan and they like cut their hand or bite their hand or whatever, you have to have like intent behind it in order to become a Titan. So I don't know if his intent is there and that's why his body looks the way that it does. But that's just a theory. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. But I'm wondering though, hearing the screams of Gabby and wow, I almost said Porco. Yes. Hearing the screams of Gabby and Falco, I kind of feel in my heart that he has not a newfound resolve. I'm not going to say all of that. I think he still isn't in it. And he did just beg Eren to kill him. And I do think he 100% feels like it was all wrong. Like, I don't think he agrees with any of it anymore. So I feel like he might have the resolve to fight and to protect those kids. But I think other than that, he's probably 100% over it. But I think that to protect them, I think he'll do anything. But like you said, Hanji is there. And they're trying to pick everybody up. So I feel like this moment is not about to be a whole. I don't think there's going to be a whole brawl between them, to be honest.
Agreed. I think because if you're not on that ship, you're getting left.
Yeah. Okay, but y'all, like, what was the plan? When Hanji showed up, I thought, wait. So there was some sort of plan in place? Like, who is this black man they got flying the plane too? Like, what? I'm like, hold on. Like, so Eren did all this, but there was still some sort of plan? Like, I need to see the backstory on Paradis.
Agreed. Because who was he sending the letters to? Because they ain't got no post office in Paradis. So who got the letters?
I feel like he was sending them to Mikasa, and but at the same time, like, what were like, I don't know. I think he was sending them to Mikasa because he was like, remember, he was like, they didn't reach my family, but they reached my comrades. Falco was like, huh? Okay. Like, if you say so. But, I'm just surprised that, to me, I think Armin had to have been in on all of it.
Yeah, Hanji said that. She said that he was channeling Erwin with that plan.
Okay.
So I know Armin came up with the plan, the very loose plan. I still want to know what the actual plan was. And I think that the black man, I think that Charles said it in the episode before last. Or what did you say?
I said that we finally got a black Eldian.
Oh, okay. Well, I said that I think that he is the like somebody that was probably in the Marleyan military. And you know, when all those ships went over to Parody, like they sent 32 ships. I know they didn't kill everybody on all 32 ships. And so we were just thinking like maybe he's one of the refugees that turned on Marley. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. See, because I was thinking that from when they set Peak and Porco up, and Peak was like, you look really familiar to the tall dude that was leading them. And
oh yeah.
And like then like we seen Armin, and that dude was taller than Armin.
Absolutely,
like,
you're right. Wasn't
built like Armin. So I was like, the reason like she has familiarity with a lot of the soldiers, because I mean with them all day every day. So I was like, that's because I'm a couple that I think that's what we're talking about a couple episodes ago. I was like, I mean they weren't, like she said, they weren't gonna kill everybody, or at least like they would try to turn some people. So that's why I'm kind of thinking that in terms of the tall guy at least, and even maybe the black guy that was flying the blimp, like it was definitely, I don't know, I think it was somebody that Peak would have recognized from being in the military.
Yeah.
So kind of
just another Marley ex-military person. They obviously had to have inside help just to know like how to navigate through the city, how we're all put these places, all these refilling their ODM gear and stuff. Like they had to have all these places set up already. So they had to have help from people that are from Marley, that knew this area. They knew where these underground wells were and everything. So that's just my thought.
No, that's so
that
real.
They have a lot of help from people.
Because when Armin showed up on that boat, I was like, there's no way he did all of that, capture Porco and Peak,
right.
Made his way onto a boat. I was like, unbelievable. And like you said, Armin was not as tall as that man that came and got them. But I mean, it's true. He wasn't. I was like, maybe he got taller because of, Colossal Titan, but he was not. He was standing next to Hanji, who was looking pretty short.
Right. He was shorter than Hanji.
Yeah, he wasn't looking too tall. So, no, I think y'all
Did he
are
have
right.
a beard?
Did Armin have a beard? Or did the guy have a beard?
Yeah. No, did Armin have a beard?
I didn't think so. I thought his face, he looked pretty boyish to me still.
Yeah, he didn't look like he had a beard to me.
Yeah, he looked pretty young. I honestly, Armin has really grown on me. I never not liked Armin. I've always liked his character, but again, seeing him kind of bite that bullet and become colossal and do what he had to do, that put him in a different category for me of just genius. And I kind of have a feeling that it might have been the case where Eren sent them these letters like, this is what I'm doing. And, I would like y'all help, but this is what I'm doing. And I feel like from that, Armin was like, we need to create a plan to help him. And I feel like from that, Armin kind of created this whole thing. Like, I feel like Eren really was just doing what he does. And Armin was like, no, we got to help him out somehow. But yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question about Armin?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you remember Armin and Erwin were pretty much both on their deathbeds. So, you were kind of lukewarm about Armin. So, who did you think should have survived?
I mean, originally when the moment was happening, I was literally like, talking to myself like, oh, they're gonna choose Erwin. Like I would have chosen Erwin, especially because when it was just Armin who was sick, Eren was like, come on, Levi, give him the syringe. And Levi hesitated for a moment. And I was like, yeah, you should hesitate, because is there anybody else? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there a better option? Because I didn't really believe in Armin as a fighter. And, I used to kind of just feel like this is a whole war. We need some warriors out here. And Armin was smart, but he wasn't a warrior to me, or, not a warrior in terms of like Reiner and all them, but just like someone who's willing to do what it takes, or even just have the passion and the fire that like Eren has. So I was 100% like team Erwin, like give it to Erwin. But once I finished that season, I started thinking about what they have to now do. I realized they do need Armin. Armin is so smart. Every single thing that the scouts have accomplished, Armin has figured out. Annie, he figured out. Them being in the walls, Reiner and Bertolt and them being in the walls, that was crazy. I was like, how in the hell did you figure that out? But so after that, I was like, okay, I can see it. But again, I liked his character, so I saw it going either way. But at first, I definitely was team. We need Erwin, and he kind of deserved to live on. But now I'm like all the way. I'm glad it was Armin. Like it had to have been Armin, to be honest. Even to be able to work with Eren the way that he is to pull off whatever it is that Eren needs and wants to pull off. But yeah. How did y'all feel in that moment? Y'all were with Armin?
I mean, personally, I wanted Armin, probably, but that's just because Mikasa and Eren looked sad. And then, yeah. So, I mean, I was kind of on Armin's side. I kind of felt like it was going to be Armin in the end anyway, because I didn't feel like they were going to kill him off so soon.
I didn't like Armin for the first 2 seasons. And he kind of started growing on me the 3rd season. But I still wasn't like, oh, I like Armin. Like, I loved Commander Erwin. But I did think that Armin would be a better fit because I personally felt like Commander Erwin was already resigned to die anyway during the Battle of Shiganshika. So I didn't see like, a point in necessarily reviving him with the Titan ability, because I think that between him and Armin, they both had the same kind of mindset. I do think that, Armin has to grow into his leadership abilities, but I do think that he's a good fit. Like you said, I think he works best with Eren, and like Eren only listens to Mikasa and Armin anyway. And so I think that was a better choice ultimately to get to the goal.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I do want him to see what was in the basement though.
Yeah. Yeah, but ultimately, I kind of reconcile with he knew he was right. Like everything that had gone down, like ultimately I think he died knowing like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's some shit. Like my dad wasn't wrong. There is some this
right.
shit going down.
Definitely, especially like even with the Titans in the wall, like obviously things aren't right here. So and right. Then like the Cart Titan and the Beast Titan, like those aren't just Titans that came out of thin air. So obviously there's something. He knew that other things were going on.
Okay, yeah. So you guys, do you have any final thoughts, predictions, theories about what we're about to get next? What any wild thoughts?
My wild, not any wilder than what we've already predicted with Eren just waking up. It was all a dream. But I definitely think that upcoming, even though we just had a lot of action these past couple of episodes, I definitely think that the action is going to shift. How Attack on Titan likes to do it with a lot more subtle type of action scenes. Instead of like your big battles, there's going to be a lot of intricate fights. Like Gabby's about to do some BS, I'm pretty sure. There's going to be, I don't know. I really don't know where we go from here, because I don't really know what Eren's plan in doing all of this was, aside to take the Warhammer Titan. So I don't know. I'm really just kind of here. Like my predictions are kind of all over the place at this point.
I don't have predictions because I know what's going to happen. I'm just very entertained watching, and I like to see how it all unfolds. Like I know the big picture stuff, but I don't know like the little things, like the details that get us there. So I am interested in the little things. Like I want to know where this black man comes from. Like, is he the only black person in Perry? Do we have a whole gang of them now? Like the little things are my questions, the detailed things. Like, where did this airship come from? Like, y'all didn't even know this existed. They got guns now. It's like,
I mean, Kenny had guns.
I know that, but they didn't even know what guns were when Kenny had them. Like, they were like, those aren't for Titans. these are for people. And that was like their first time realizing that people are using weapons that aren't necessarily for Titan.
I thought the MPs had guns.
I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
I didn't think they had guns either. I see in my head, I kind of made it just a thing of like, you know, Kenny, and then they had maybe it was more like a black market thing or like an underground, you know, thing. But
maybe.
I didn't think that guns were just a thing in parody. But I mean, either way, like you were saying, they were not being used on humans for real. So, yeah, like you said, Charles, I'm definitely kind of just here now because I really do not know where they're about to go from here. Like, you know, like we were talking about, I have some predictions with Zeke and different characters and, you know, where they might stand, but ultimately how the issue gets resolved, you know, how this quote unquote war against Eren, Yeager, and Parody versus now the world is about to go. I'm not sure. But I do hope, like I said, we get some more background on the Parody people. Like, I'm glad we got the time skip and we were in Marley and all of that, but I definitely need to know, like you said, where in the world did this airship come from? where y'all get this from? What's going on? So yeah, I can't wait. I do hope we continue to get little spurts of action though, for sure, because we got some good stuff for sure in these 2 episodes, but I do want more. I really do. But hopefully Gabby doesn't cause too much damage. Hopefully Gabby don't do too much. But
I mean, after that first episode, I feel like all she is damage.
Yeah, dang near. Talking about all she is damage. Yeah, dang near. We're gonna have to keep an eye on her. But thanks you guys for coming on Big Titan Talk. This has been lovely. I'm gonna continue to follow Black on Titan because I need to know what you guys are thinking or what is going on. But Ayana and Charles, let the folks know where they can find you and more about where they can listen to Black on Titan.
Firstly, thank you for having us. It's been a joy. I remember when we were in the clubhouse room and then you were talking about Attack on Titan. I was like, oh shit, another, like for me, I was like, another Black person has a podcast about Attack on Titan. I sent it to Ayana that night, and I've really been enjoying listening to your podcast as well. So
awesome, yeah.
Like, thanks. But you can find me personally on Twitter at Chuck_mate_. You can find me there. You can find me anywhere. And then Black on Titan, you can pretty much find on any streaming podcast.
Yes, we are Black on Titan on every streaming podcast. And you can find me on Twitter at PrimaYanna, and that's PrimaYanna.
Nice.
And they will be on our podcast coming out Monday. So listen for that.
I'm looking forward to that conversation too.
Nice. Okay, you guys, I'm going to put all of their info in the description box. Again, make sure you guys are following Black on Titan. It is very entertaining, y'all. Don't want to miss it. And if you guys want a little bit more AOT content from your girl, make sure you check out the YouTube channel and continuing to follow Big Titan Talk. And with that, I will catch y'all next time. Bye.